Good morning, All Saints. It is Monday morning, the 17th of August. I had so looked forward to seeing many of you yesterday for worship on the lawn and our first Eucharist since March, but we were thwarted by weather. The good news is that we were able to open up the house and sleep with the windows open last night. It was a nice respite for the month of August. I've been thinking a lot this weekend and in the past week or two about something that is a connection to something seemingly mundane, but that has deep meaning, at least for me, and maybe for many of you. And it's the US Postal Service. Now, there's a lot of controversy around that right now and what's going on with dismantling or not funding or inhibiting. And I do want to add that that causes much more of a challenge than just voting for some people. Many people rely on the mail for medications and checks and post office locations for money orders. That's their bank. And so anything that happens to the post office is going to have ripple effects to many people. But that's not really why I wanted to talk about the Postal Service. My Some of my earliest memories are of a lifelong correspondence that I had with my grandmother. When I was born, she was already 69 years old. Um, and I was her youngest grandchild, and we developed a bond through writing letters to each other. And over the years, as she got older, her handwriting got more and more difficult to read, so she pulled out a Smith Corona typewriter, and it missed about every fifth letter. But those letters were dear to me as a child and as a young woman, and it launched in me a lifelong love of both receiving letters from people and writing letters to other people. I am an inveterate note writer. Some of it has to do with my Southern upbringing of writing thank you notes and in this age when we can be in touch with each other through so many means, not least of which is YouTube in the morning time. We can phone call and we can text and we can message. It seems kind of quaint and old fashioned to think that receiving a letter would be something different. But to write a letter, you have to not only bring someone to mind, you have to sit down and compose thoughts about that person or specifically related to that person. And there's a deep thoughtfulness that goes into it. And when I write letters, it in some ways is a way of offering a prayer in my heart to that person for that person. So I think today I'm going to write some letters and remember my grandmother and remember that there are ways that we can be bonded together in God's love in the way that we keep in touch when we're apart. And doesn't have to be a phone call or a text, it can be something as simple as a pen and a piece of paper and a stamp. I wish you many blessings this day. I hope that you get a letter in the mail, and maybe you could brighten someone else's day by dropping a letter in a mailbox somewhere. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.